everyone, Michelle here. Today we are talking about one of the great Hoya mysteries. You probably already have that one plant. That one that has been in the same pot with the same 3 leaves since the day you brought it home. Meanwhile, the Hoya right next to it has put out 6 feet of vine in 3 months and is trying to climb into your ceiling fan. So clearly, it's not just your care. There are real predictable reasons this happened. Every Hoya in your collection carries a little piece of its native home. By the end of this deep dive, you're going to understand the Hoya logic behind growth rates. We're going to walk through the big reasons for these stalls and give you a checklist so you can look at a sulking plant and say, okay, I know which knob to turn first, instead of just staring at it and wondering if it hates you personally. So grab a drink, grab a plant if you want, and let's talk about the 5 big reasons some Hoyas grow like weeds and others move at glacial speeds. If you liked today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That lets the word get out to the plant YouTube universe that my channel exists, and I'm out here releasing videos about Hoyas and their care every week that they might be interested in watching. If you'd like to help out the channel further, please consider subscribing to my channel. I have a goal to make it to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm getting closer every day. I greatly appreciate every person who has subscribed. So if you are a current subscriber, thank you so much. And if you'd like to contribute to this video, please consider adding a comment to the comment section below. I do read and respond to all the comments on my videos, so I will respond to you. Please be patient with me, as it may take me a day or two to get back to you, but I promise I will. And now on to the video. First, we have to talk about DNA. Not all Hoyas are built to move at the same speed. Hoyas grow across Southeast Asia, the Pacific, and Australia. Some climb trees as epiphytes, some cling to rocks as lithophytes, and each species has adapted to its environment in its own way. Take the lowland rainforest species, the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia. This is home to your Hoya pubicalis and your Hoya obovata. These areas are warm and humid year-round. These plants are marathon runners. They are built for speed because they need to climb to the canopy quickly to get light. Now compare that to the highland and mountain species from cooler, mistier regions in northern Thailand or Borneo. This is where you find the Hoya calistophylla or Hoya ficii. They've developed thicker, more succulent leaves to hold on to moisture because their environment is more feast or famine. In the Hoya world, thick leaves often equal a slow metabolism. If your Hoya calistophylla isn't growing as fast as your Hoya New Guinea ghost, it's not unhappy. It's simply adapted to a slower pace of life. Rule number 1, compare your plant to other people's experiences with that specific species, not to the fastest Hoya in your collection. If genetics is the blueprint, light is the gas pedal. This is usually the biggest "why is it not moving" issue. In my previous video, we talked about sun stressing, but even if you don't want red leaves, you need to give it enough photons to drive growth. If the light is too low, your Hoya might technically be surviving, but it will grow like it's paying rent by the inch. In 2026, I feel we should move past vague terms like bright indirect light. If you want your Hoya to thrive rather than just exist, you need to understand the currency of plant energy, PPFD. Now, what is PPFD? PPFD stands for photosynthetic photon flux density. This measures the amount of light that actually reaches your plant leaves. Specifically, it counts the number of photons, light particles, in the visible range that land on a specific square meter every second. Think of it like rain. While foot candles or lux tell you how bright a light looks to the human eye, PPFD tells you how many drops of energy are actually hitting the leaf for photosynthesis. It is measured in micromoles per square meter per second. Now, how do you measure it? You don't need a $500 quantum sensor anymore. Most hobbyists now use a smartphone app like Photon or PPFD meter. These use your phone's front camera, often with a piece of copy paper wrapped around the front camera, to give remarkably accurate readings, or a dedicated PAR meter. For the serious collector, handheld sensors provide the most precise data, regardless of the light source, LED versus sun. Once you have your measurement tool, look for these benchmarks. Survival is 50 to 100 micromoles. This is the maintenance zone. Your Hoya will stay green, but it will sit there like a statue. Active growth is 200 to 300 micromoles. This is the sweet spot where you'll see new vines reaching out and consistent leaf production. Sun stressing or flowering is in the 400 plus micromole range. Higher intensity can trigger the beautiful reds and purples in some species like Hoya obscura, but keep a close eye on heat levels. Now for a pro tip, if your Hoya has long gaps between nodes, what we call internodal stretching, or hasn't put out a leaf in 6 months, it's starving for photons. Now when I move a sulky Hoya just one notch closer to a window or under a strong LED, increasing its PPFD by even 50 points, it usually wakes up within a month. It's not instant, but once a plant realizes it has enough energy to spare, it will finally decide to participate. Reason number 3 is what I call secret root work. Hoyas are incredibly smart. They will almost always prioritize roots over shoots. If you just bought a cutting, or if you've just repotted a plant, or it just arrived in the mail, it's going through establishment mode. You might not see a single leaf for 3 months, but underground, it's doing a massive construction project. It's building the infrastructure needed to support a 6-foot vine. This is especially true for thick-leaved giants like Hoya latifolia. They store so much energy in their leaves that they can afford to sit still while they perfect their root system. A pro tip is if you're a nervous grower, use clear pots. When you can see those fuzzy white root tips hitting the edge of the plastic, you know that the root is growing, even if you can't see it from the top. Since most Hoyas are epiphytes, meaning they grow on trees, their roots are literally air roots. They are not used to being buried in heavy, wet potting soil. If your Hoya is a statue, check that mix. Is it too dense? Does it stay wet for 2 weeks? If so, your plant isn't growing because it's suffocating. A plant with unhappy roots will spend all of its energy just trying to stay alive. It has no budget left for new leaves. I always say give your Hoya a chunky, airy mix, and suddenly they will remember they are vines. If a plant hasn't moved in months, I often pull it out, check the roots, and move it into an airier container. Very often, that's just the reset that plant needs. Reason number 5 is temperature. Remember, Hoyas are tropical and subtropical. Most Hoyas are happiest in that warm, sweet spot between 70 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. If your Hoya is sitting in what I call permanent light jacket temperature, not freezing, but always a little chilly, it goes into slow motion. This happens a lot in the summer when we have the AC blasting right onto our plant shelves. When the roots are cold, the plant's metabolism drops. It's not dying, it's not motivated. This is especially true for Philippine endemics like Hoya surigauensis or Hoya nervosa, both of which I have. They want consistent warmth. If you have a statue Hoya, Try moving it into a warmer spot or adding a seedling heat mat under its tray. You'll be amazed at how fast a little foot warmth can trigger a new growth point. We've all heard that Hoyas like to be pot bound. While that's a little bit of a myth, there is a grain of truth to it. If you can put a tiny cutting in a giant pot, that plant feels lost. It will spend an entire year trying to fill that massive pot with roots before it ever puts out a new leaf. Plus, all that extra soil stays wet for far too long, which leads back to those root issues we talked about. Hoyas feel safe when they are a little snug. I've seen a Hoya Matilde grow a 6-foot long vine in a tiny 2-inch little cup. I'll see if I can find a picture of my Hoya Rebecca before I repotted it into something larger, which now it's in 2 6-inch pots. I divided it up. This Hoya was definitely root bound. Finally, let's touch on fertilizer. Fertilizer is not the reason your plant is a statue. Light and roots are the leads, but fertilizer is the supporting actor. Think of it like this. Light is the power, and fertilizer is the building block. If you have the light dialed in, but you're not feeding, the plant might want to grow, but simply doesn't have the bricks to build the new cells. I use a weekly approach. I use a diluted fertilizer every time I water during the growing season. That tells the plant the resources are here, it's safe to grow. Just don't overdo it. Too much will actually cause salt buildup in the soil, and that will actually stall a Hoya even further. So when you have a sulky statue Hoya, run through this checklist. Check the species. Is it a slow highland grower or a fast lowland weed? Measure the light. Is it getting at least 200 micromoles? Check the roots. Use a clear pot. Is it doing secret root work? Feel the air. Is it too cold or in a draft? Look at the pot. Is it too big for the root system? If you check these 5 boxes, your statue will eventually wake up. Every Hoya is a little ambassador of its native home. The more we connect to the natural story, to our indoor care, the more success we'll have. I'd love to hear which Hoya in your collection has been a statue for the longest, and which one is currently trying to take over your house. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this nerdy deep dive, don't forget to subscribe. And thanks so much for staying with me until the end. I know you have a lot of things that you could do with your time, and I really appreciate that you chose to spend that time with me today on this deep dive into Hoya growth. I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until next time, I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.